All right, Shalom. I want to start by saying, call Lord YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, real quick, I got this article I came across today, and it's from the Business Insider, and it's the military and defense section, and it reads, and it's from July 4th, yesterday, and it reads, it says Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps gets powerful ships to confront adversaries well beyond the Persian Gulf. Well beyond the Persian Gulf. What's that mean? So they it's more than the area that they're in. So that's the area they're in. But when you hear these things being talked about, now obviously, you know, we talk about Amalek, but that's all in that area. But, you know, who else would they be talking about? They talk about America, man. And, you know, who NATO. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the countries that the world is against, because that's Esau Edom. Esau Edom is basically America and NATO. But it was funny is because, you know, Russia is Esau too, but on that region of the world, you know, Russia's not part of Europe and they're not part of that NATO stuff. And you got to remember also too, that Esau's house is divided, his kingdom is divided, because this is all Esau's kingdom, but Esau has his own countries. That's why it says nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and people against people, because you got, and the Lord, Yahawashi said, he said, Satan's house divided, how shall it stand? So this is all part of Satan's house being divided. So it says Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps gets powerful ships to confront adversaries well beyond the Persian Gulf. Now, who would be a main adversary beyond the Persian Gulf? It's America, man. So I'm gonna get right to the article. So it says, in the last 3 years, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy has commissioned hundreds of new vessels. So the last 3 years, so you gotta think about measuring the time diligently, all around during the time of this epic, all during the C-19, right? So it says most are newer variants of the missile, rocket, and heavy machine gun class speedboats that have long formed the backbone of the IRGCN's fleet. But beginning in 2022, now what was in 2022? The start of Russia-Ukraine. That was the start of 22. And I've noticed that when I read last articles over the last bit of time, that a lot of things have transpired and started to happen around that time. Whether it be 2020, 2022, 2023, but around that frame of like 2020. See, this was an interesting time because these are the 2020s. All right. So it says but beginning in 2022, the IRGCN began commissioning new classes of warships capable of operating on the high seas. And it says the vessels, 4 newly designed missile-armed catamaran corvettes and a container ship converted into an expeditionary sea base, bring new capabilities to the hardline force known for carrying out dangerous missions like attaching mines to ship hulls and hijacking merchant ships, giving Iran options to keep adversaries with advanced navies and air forces like Saudi Arabia and the U.S. off balance. So you see, we said Saudi Arabia and the U.S. off balance. So that means part of that beyond the Persian Gulf would be America, because they said that's the adversaries. That's why the Lord said in the book of Jeremiah, I believe, the 50th and 51st chapter talks about the daughter of Babylon, how much everybody's against her, man. Like this, like America, like people really don't understand how much really the world hates and is against America. All right. And it reads, it says, the largest ships ever to be commissioned into its service, the vessels enable the IRGCN to operate major surface combatants with long-range anti-ship and anti-war weapons, and also helps the historically literal force to pursue a new mission only recently given to it, to project power into the high seas via expeditionary operations. With the 4th catamaran missile corvette on the way and another container ship being converted into a drone carrier, the IRGCN's future fleet is gaining the larger ships and firepower needed to confront its adversaries beyond the Persian Gulf. Now, who's one of those enemies he just mentioned? They just mentioned America and Saudi Arabia. Now, granted, Saudi Arabia is a little bit in the fence because eventually they probably gonna fall in line and they probably gonna get down with all of them. Because I believe Saudi Arabia put in a bid to get down with the BRICS. I'm not sure. But it said to gain firepower. And what have they been talking about for years? I mean, when I first got into the truth, I remember Apostle Tahar always talk about like Iran. Talking about Iran. When Iran is more talked about. This is the small saying they are great. Because at one time, Iran wasn't talking this kind of jazz. But now they are, because why? The Lord is building them up. Let the weak say that I am strong. All right? It says, founded in 1985, the IRGCN is that's the year before I was born. It says the IRGCN is the naval branch of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, a paramilitary organization that operates as the ideological steward of Iran's revolution, separate from the national military, and which answers directly to Tehran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. It says, numbering around 25,000 personnel in 2007, the IRGCN was tasked with the security of the Persian Gulf, while Iran's national navy was given responsibility for the waters of the inland Caspian Sea, the Gulf of Oman, and beyond. Responsibility for the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow mouth that doglegs into the Persian Gulf, is shared between the two forces. So this is basically like, this is Iran right here. They run it. And it says, since its inception, the IRGCN has employed an asymmetric doctrine that utilizes swarm and guerrilla tactics with an emphasis on speed, mobility, and geographical advantages. They are known for provocative tactics that harass and threaten U.S. Navy warships and civilian merchant vessels. There you go, mentioning America again. See, they mentioned America like 3 times already, and that's in the sea. And what's happening right now to the U.S. Navy over there in the Red Sea area? What, they're getting attacked by the Houthis from Yemen? Okay, I'm gonna read that again. So it says, since its inception, the IRGCN has employed an asymmetric doctrine that utilizes swarm and guerrilla tactics with the emphasis on numbers, speed, mobility, and geographical advantages. They are known for provocative tactics that harass and threaten U.S. Navy warships and civilian merchant vessels. And it says, operating in conjunction with Iran's land-based missiles and aircraft, the IRGCN can mount rapid sea assaults that exploit the islands and contours of Iran's coast. They rely extensively on hundreds of smaller vessels, namely fast attack craft, FAC, and says, and fast inshore attack craft, FAIC, like those of the Thunder and Peacock classes, which are armed with heavy machine guns, rockets, anti-ship missiles, and torpedoes to swarm enemy warships that may also be under attack from loitering munitions. So it's to protect themselves from a threat. And what's been a major threat right now to Iran? Amalek, America, NATO. Okay? And it says, on September 5th, 2022, the IRGCN diverged from its usual procurement practices when it commissioned the Shahid Soleimani, the lead ship of a new class of corvettes named after the leader of the IRGC Elite Quads Force, who was killed in a U.S. drone strike in 2020 at 213 feet long, 47 feet wide, and displacing an estimated 600 tons. It is one of the largest surface combatants the IRGCN has ever adopted. So they getting shit right. They gathering their shit, beating their plowshares and their swords. This is all getting ready for that great third woe. The third woe coming quickly. The World War III. So it says the class utilizes a unique twin-hulled catamaran design. The design offers increased speed and stability at the expense of volume to carry more fuel or armaments. Though rare for frontline warships, some major navies do possess catamaran corvettes, including China, Russia, Taiwan, and Norway. But funny thing is, China and Russia, because that's who Iran is with. They're not too much with Taiwan and Norway. But Russia and China, those are the other two superpowers besides America. So it says the IRGCN itself has been operating a single catamaran called the Shahid Naziri since 2016. Despite being lightly armed, it has a record of harassing U.S. vessels and civilian ships in the Persian Gulf. There you go, America, U.S. vessels again. That's like the fourth or fifth time the U.S. vessel is mentioned. All right, and it says, but while Shahid Nazari has few armaments, the Solomon class corvettes are the most heavily armed vessels in the IRGCN fleet, with an armament of 28 missiles, 4 23mm Gatling guns, 2 in the front of the bridge and 2 amidships, and 1 30mm auto cannon at the bow. It says their formidable missile armaments are designed to threaten ships and aircraft. 22 of the missiles are stored in vertical launch systems, VLS, making the Soleimani's the first vessels in Iranian service with vertical launch capability, so to go up. And it says believed to all house surface to air missiles, SAMs. They are arranged in 2 groups of 11 cells, 8 small and 3 large, on the port and starboard side just behind the bridge. The 6 large cells are believed to house medium-range SAMs with a range of 92 miles each, while the 16 small cells are believed to house short-range SAMs, 6 box launchers, and amid ships, 3 on each side. House anti-ship cruise missiles, ASCMs, likely 4 long-range ASCMs like the Gadir or Noor, with ranges of 184 and 74 miles, respectively, and 2 short-range ASCMs like the Nazir, which has a range of 21 miles. Now, you got to remember,